أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. We start with verse 20 of Surah Al-Luqman. Do you not see that Allah has subjected you to benefit all that is in the heavens and in the earth, and has lavished on you His evident and hidden favors? Yet there are some people who still argue about Allah without knowledge, without guidance or an enlightening book. Now we find that in the beginning of this surah, the mushriks and kafirs were being admonished for still persisting in kufr and shirk, despite the fact that they saw signs of Allah's perfect power around them. And in contrast to them, the obedient believers were praised. In between came the Wasiya of Luqman to complement the same subject. And now from this verse, the text reverts to the previous subject, the signs of Allah's power and oneness around her. Allah asks that, is it not that Allah has subjugated all that is in the heavens and the earth in your service? A thing is subjugated in two ways. Number one, the thing is at your disposal and you are authorized to use it and exploit it, and you do it as you like. Then this would include air, water, earth, fire, vegetation, minerals, cattle, etc. And number two, that the thing is forced to follow a law or a system so that it would serve your interests and benefits that would suit you. For example, the sun, the moon, that, oh man, why are you so ungrateful to the Rabb who has put the whole creation to your service? Then the verse says that Allah completed the hidden as well as the apparent favors on you. Visible favors are those which are perceived by man in one way or the other, or they are known to him. And the invisible favors are those which are neither perceived by him nor are known to him. For example, the countless things in man's own body, but man is unaware of them. We don't know the number of cells in our body. They are like bricks in our body. Our brain working more than the fastest computers, enclosed and protected in the hard bones of the skull. Then look at the heart pumping blood like a machine. What forces are making it work and keeps on making it work? These organs work from the mother's womb till death, non-stop, without even resting for 1 minute, saved and protected in the rib cage. Then look at the eye. 130 million cameras are working in one eye, out of which 6 million work for the color. Then there are cameras which work in the dark. Look at the ear, how its system is protected. And it not only makes us listen, but differentiates between different voices. And many lakhs of these nerves work for it, sensitive nerves work for it. Look at the kidney. One kidney has 10 lakh purifiers which purify blood and take out the impurities. If the kidney stops its function, then this work is done by dialysis, and this costs a large sum of money as well as pain, and it sifts important nutrients along with the impure ones, which ultimately cause death. Look at the tongue. Recognizes every taste. If this quality was not there, we would just eat anything. Look at the two openings in the throat, one for breathing, one for food. Who is regulating this traffic? Look at the skin, how it perspires to maintain the temperature of the body. 3 million air conditioners are working for this purpose. Look at the joints. Even if one is damaged, life becomes miserable. Look at the liver. If something like a liver is made to work on earth, then it would be the largest factory ever. So many functions are performed by it. Some cells are making proteins, some salt, some vitamins, some sugar. There are around 500 functions. Look at lungs, how smoothly they work all our lives. If they stop working even for a minute, what will happen to us? Then man is unaware of all these things. Then Iman, Marifat of Allah, intellect, then having one's sins being unexposed, the various arrangements Allah has made for the protection of man. Then the verse says that man still disputes about Allah. What is disputing about Allah? Asking questions like, does Allah exist or not? Nauzubillah. Is he one God alone, or are there other gods also? Or why did Allah do this and why didn't Allah do that? Why do people say such things? Because they haven't come into contact with knowledge, nor have they observed or experienced reality directly. Verse 21, when they are asked to follow what Allah has revealed, they replied, nay, we shall follow the ways upon which we found our forefathers. What? Will they still follow them, even though shaitan invites them to the punishment of the blazing fire? That is, that it is not at all necessary that the forefathers of every person and every family and every nation should have been on the right path. The mere argument that you adopt a particular way of life because your elders have been doing it cannot be a proof of its being right also. No sane person can commit the folly that he should blindly go on following the way of his forefathers and never bothers to find out where this way is leading to. And this is the most common cause of misguidance even today, that we are so busy in love, that is, we have no time to research, to find out about our deen, and go on following the common practices of deen blindly. Verse 22, he who surrenders himself to Allah and leads a righteous life has indeed grasped the most trustworthy handhold, as the ultimate disposal of affairs rests with Allah. Now the verse says that the person who has these two qualities, number one, surrendering himself to Allah, and this means that he will do everything as Allah has commanded and not anyone else, makes Allah his guide. He entrusts all his affairs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and all his deeds seem to be seeking the pleasure of Allah. Number two, he is a muhsin. Remember, we studied in the previous lecture who a muhsin is. The one who does deeds beautifully in a way as Allah wants them to be done. So this person has got hold of a strong handle to hold on to, meaning that Allah's help is always there for such a person, and he has made himself deserving of Allah's help. The end of the verse says that the ultimate result of everything lies with Allah. Verse 23, as for he who disbelieves, let not his disbelief grieve you. To us is their return, and we shall inform them the reality of their deeds. Now the verse means to say that, O Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the one who refuses to listen to you, think that by rejecting Islam and insisting on unbelief, he has harmed you, but in fact he has not harmed you but himself. If he does not listen to you, you need not bother yourself about him at all. Verse 24, we let them enjoy for a while in this life. In the hereafter, we shall drive them to an unrelenting punishment. Verse 25, if you ask them, who has created the heavens and the earth? They will certainly say, Allah. Say, praise be to Allah. But most of them do not understand. The verse says that when they are asked, who is asked? The Kafirs of Makkah, that who created the heavens and the earth? They at once say, Allah. Thank God that you acknowledge this fact. But there is a contradiction in what you say and what you believe. Because if you had truly acknowledged Allah to be the creator of the heavens and the earth, then you would not have made partners in his divinity, or the remover of hardships, or the bestower of blessings. Verse 26, to Allah belongs all that is in the heavens and the earth. Surely Allah is the one who is free of all wants, worthy of all praise. Now the previous verse said that you do not know Allah, that he is not just the creator of the heavens and the earth, but also the owner, the master of all things found in it. And he is free of all wants. He does not need anyone. He doesn't need anyone's help, anyone's praise, and all praises are alone for him. Verse 27, if all the trees or earth were pens, and the ocean was ink, the oceans were ink, replenished by 7 more oceans, Allah's words would not be exhausted. Surely Allah is mighty and wise. This verse means that the manifestation of Allah's knowledge, power, and blessings are endless. They cannot be encompassed by speech or through a similitude. It is explained that if all the trees on earth were made into pens, they were cut and made into pens, and the whole of the oceans turned into ink, and this ink was to be refilled 7 more times, even then we would not be able to encompass the divine blessings and powers. Verse 28, neither your creation nor your resurrection is anything but as simple as the creation and resurrection of a single soul. Surely Allah is all hearing, all seeing. Now the verse means that the creating and recreating the whole of mankind is as easy as the creation of a single soul for Allah, meaning that this is something completely and absolutely in Allah's power. The end of the verse says that He is the all-hearer, meaning that He is hearing every sound in the universe distinctly at one and the same time, and no sound can absorb His hearing so completely that He may hear no other sound. And He is the all-seer, that He is watching the whole universe in such of its detail one and the same time, and nothing absorbs His sight so completely that He may see nothing. The same is the case with the power of creation, that He can recreate the whole mankind all at the same time. His creative power not only absorbed with the creation of one man, so that the creation of the others have to wait for Him, the creation of one man and of billions of men is equal. It's one and the same thing for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Verse 27, do you not see that Allah causes the night to pass into the day and the day into the night, that He has subjected the sun and the moon to follow His law, each pursuing its course for an appointed term, and that Allah is well aware of all your actions. Now ponder over the creations of Allah, the alteration of the day and night, then the working of the sun and the moon, following strict laws and perfect discipline. And from the beginning of time, there is not a single example that they stopped following these laws, and they will go on following ajal and musamma till the appointed time, and that is the Qiyamah. Verse 30, this is because Allah is the only reality, and because all those whom people invoke besides Him are false, and because Allah is the one who is the Most High, the Great. So this shows that the real sovereign is Allah. He alone has the power over creating or disposing of something. And these are figments of your own imagination, that so and so has a share in powers to bestow something or remove hardships. The fact is that none has the power to make or unmake anything. He is the highest of all, before whom everything is low, and He is the greatest of all, before whom everything is small. Verse 31, do you not see how the ships sail through the oceans by the grace of Allah, so that He may show you some of His signs? Surely there are signs in this for every patient, thankful person. Now we find that in this surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is constantly reminding man of signs of Allah's power around him and of His blessings and favors. In this verse, Allah points out that, O man, don't you look at this favor of Allah, that He created the ships and gave them the power to sail on the oceans? What are the forces which are making These huge ships sail, carrying tons and tons of load smoothly on the surface of water. What gave water this amazing property? That a solid mass slides on a liquid. This indeed is a great sign of Allah's power and a great blessing for us, because it is not only the largest means of traveling but a means of seeking Allah's bounty also. And this is the most commonly used system for trade. But the end of the verse says that only the people who have these two qualities will realize and recognize this blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What are these qualities? Number one, sabbar. Sabbar are the people who have sabr. So, how that when these people get caught in a storm while sailing, they endure it with patience. And the total reliance is on Allah's mercy. And when this mercy encompasses them, because of their sabr, they get to know Allah's power all the more better. So because of their sabr, they experienced and realized the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And number two is the quality of ash-shakur. Now, shakur is the one most grateful. Ash-shakur means the most grateful. How that when the ship reaches its destination, they are grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they realize that had it not been for Allah's mercy, this could never have happened, this could never have become possible. And these people are not taking things for granted, but they have a heart which is grateful for all the favors bestowed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Verse 32. When any giant wave covers them like a canopy, they pray to Allah with all devotion, making their faith pure for Him. But when He delivers them from them safely to land, some of them falter between belief and unbelief. None reject our revelations except the treacherous and the ungrateful. Now, when the verse says that when waves which are so huge that they cover the ship like a canopy, like they rise up and cover the ship like a tent. So what happens then? That they start invoking Allah with desperation, with sincerity, and promise that if they are saved, they will always remain loyal to Allah. And when Allah finally saves them, takes them out of danger, and they land safely, then there are a few people who become moderate. Now, moderate here means on the path of deen, because Islam is the religion of fitrah. It is a religion of moderation. And there are some who behave like staunch traitors and like extremely ungrateful people, who use people, who take favors, but after the favor, they turn their eyes away as if no transaction ever took place between them. But here in this case, they are not betraying people, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How? By going back to their old sinful ways and by breaking all the vows they had made with Allah during their time of crisis. And this is like most of us do. When we are caught in a grave problem, we read nawafil upon nawafil, invoking Allah, sitting, standing, lying. Allah, just take me out of this problem and I will obey you like anything. Or I will give up this and this sinful habit of mine. But when the problem is solved, maybe the obedience comes for a few days, but shortly after this time, Slowly and gradually, the level of obedience declines. The old sinful habits again start seeping in gradually, and suddenly we find that we are back to square one, the same old person, or even worse than before. Verse 33, O mankind, have fear of your Rabb, and fear that day when no father shall avail his son, nor a son his father. Surely the promise of Allah is true. Let not the life of this world deceive you, nor let the deceiver deceive you concerning Allah. Now, the verse addresses the whole of mankind and says that fear the day when you will be presented before your Rabb and give account of all your deeds. So be conscious of all your deeds, that whether they are acceptable to Allah or not. Again, this Allah consciousness is being inculcated, that always be aware that Allah is watching me. Then the verse says that even the father cannot avail the son, that if the father says that I will give my life to save my son, or the son says this for the father, it will be of no use. The important message for us from this example is that when close blood relations like that can be of no help to each other, then how can we expect that other people can benefit us in dunya? Other people can benefit us there. Like in dunya, when one of us is in a problem, if no one comes to aid, at least the parents don't back out. If the parents are the affectees, then to some extent the children show concern. But that day would be so hard that no one would be concerned about anyone but their own selves. So the lesson is that that person is a fool who destroys his akhirah for the sake of others. We find that sometimes we are reluctant to obey a certain command of Allah, that my children don't let me do it, or my parents don't let me do it, or women mostly say that my husband doesn't let me do that. So if we have this reality in mind, that all of them will leave me finally to face my fate alone, then we would never put forth such excuses. Then the verse says that the promise of Allah is true. Let not the life of this world deceive you. This means that have no doubts about the akhirah. It is bound to come because it is Allah's promise, and Allah's promises are always true. And don't let this dunya delude you. What are the delusions of this dunya? For example, someone thinks that life and death only belong to this world and there is no life after death. Therefore, whatever one has to do, one should do it here and now. Like the famous saying goes, you live only once. Then another delusion of dunya is that one gets so lost in wealth and power and prosperity that he forgets death and gets involved in the foolish idea that his grandeur and power will last forever. Another form is that material gains are the sole objective of life and spiritual objectives are overlooked. The standard of living should improve no matter whether the standard of humanity goes on following lower and lower. Then another delusion is that only the people who prosper in this world are on haqq and the ones who don't are on falsehood. Then another one of the delusions is that if someone has abundant wealth and belongings, this means he is Allah's favorite. Or if someone is less in material gains, he is not loved by Allah. Then the end of the verse says that let not the al-ghurur, the deceiver, deceive you. Now, who is this deceiver? It can be anyone from amongst the men which cause misconceptions about Allah and His promises. It can be shaitan who deceitfully plans to slip away people from the right path. Then it can be man's own nafs which prompts him to become a slave of his own desires rather than Allah. So that is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has used this comprehensive word al-ghurur here, which covers any means, any cause that deceives a person to be misled and misguided from the righteous way to the wrong one. Verse 34, surely Allah alone has the knowledge of the hour. He is the one who sends down the rain. He knows what is in the wombs. No one knows what will earn the next day, what he will earn the next day, and no one knows in what land he will die. Surely Allah knows all this and is aware of everything. Now in this verse, 5 things have been declared as exclusive to Allah. These 5 things are called Mafati al-Ghaib, meaning the keys to the unseen. Now this verse is a very important verse and must be understood by analyzing all the words one by one. And I think we have less time, but we'll try to cover it. Now, the first 5 things mentioned are number 1, knowledge of the hour, number 2, knowledge of rain, number 3, what is in the wombs, number 4, what will happen tomorrow, and number 5, where he will die. Now, as this verse is quoted by the critics of the Quran, that look, your Quran says that no one knows about the coming of rain, but we know, and no one knows what is in the wombs of the mothers, but we know. Now, first of all, these people should be asked that where is the ayah? Please open up the Quran and show. You will find that most of them will not know, saying that my friend told me or my brother told me, and he hasn't himself read the Quran even once. So we have read in this surah that they argue about Allah without knowledge. This is one thing, بِغَيْرِ ilm. So let's get back to the words of the verse to explain to such people the first claim that Allah alone has the knowledge of the hour. The word in the who conveys that this knowledge lies near Allah, meaning that Allah alone has it. When the next point, He is the one who sends down the rain. Just notice it is said that sends down. It does not say no one knows, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knew that men will be able to guess. Though on a partial level through instruments, this knowledge can be wrong even. But Allah does not negate this factor. That is why Allah says just that I send the rain. The third point, and He knows what is in the womb. Now just notice that the verse says He knows and not that no one else knows. So again, this point gives a margin that other people can know as well, even if it is via machines and the findings are not 100% accurate, because sometimes the position of the baby is such that you cannot know its sex right till the end. Then look at the third point. Look at the confidence in the words. No one knows what he will earn the next day. No one. Signify that no one other than Allah can know. Now no margin has been given here. Then again, knows in what land he will die. No one knows in what land he will die. This too is knowledge that is exclusive to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So just notice that among the 5 things mentioned in the verse as keys of the unseen, one style has been adopted for 3 of them. That is Qiyamah, what someone will do tomorrow, and on which land one will die. A style which clearly shows that it is Allah and Allah alone who has this knowledge. And we can clearly see that a different style is adopted for 2 things, and that is the rain and what lies in the wombs of the mothers, indicating that although not complete, but partial knowledge will be given to man, and this too is not ghaib, because it is through some means and not on his own. So this shows that if we keep the text of the Quran in front and read the verses with the proper understanding of words and the background, the verses before it, after the ones after it, only then the true sense of the verse and its meaning becomes clear. Wa akhiru dawana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alameen.